Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Virginia, and today I have 5 brand new spring DIY decor pieces to share with you. Last year I did a bunny hanger for my front door, so this year I'm going with the carrot theme. I always see the carrot wreath hangers for sale at the Dollar Tree, and I've never picked one up, so I thought this year would be the perfect year to try it out. If you watched last week's video, you will know that I've been having some serious trouble trying to find any of the jute rope from the Dollar Tree. So originally that's what I wanted to use, but since my stores have not had it, I ended up having to go with the nautical rope, which you can also find in the Crafter Square section. To get this to wrap around the carrot, since it wasn't a perfect circle, I did use quite a bit of hot glue, just making sure that the rope was staying in place everywhere. And I had all of this in my craft stash, but I did end up using 3 of the jute rope pieces from the Dollar Tree. Again, I would have loved if I could have used the really thin jute rope just because you get so much of it, but didn't have it, so had to improvise and use the nautical rope. I'm wrapping pretty much the entire carrot in this rope. Then for the top section of the carrot here, I took some green ribbon because I'm going to be adding some greenery, so this will kind of camouflage it. And then the carrot top section, I actually take off in just a little bit. You will see that it will disappear soon. But before I realized that I wanted to take that part of the wreath off, I started tucking in some greenery. This is eucalyptus, which of course doesn't really go with a carrot, but I didn't have anything that looked like a carrot top. And since I had a bunch of these and they were longer picks, I thought that it would look the nicest, and it's green, so it kind of goes. Then I moved on to making a bow, and this is my favorite type of bow to make because there's minimal cutting. You are going to create the center of your bow, just an easy loop. Then you take your ribbon, create what is going to be one side of the bow, pinch it in the center, then move your ribbon, make another piece of the bow, pinch it in the center, move your ribbon, and you just keep doing this again and again for however full you want your bow to be. I just wanted mine to have 2 double sides, so 4 in total loops to this bow, but you can make it as big as you would like. Again, you just have to pinch everything in the middle. It's really simple. Then you grab a zip tie and zip tie everything together. If anything, the hardest part of making this bow is getting the zip tie to work when you're trying to film and you only have 2 hands. But then once you have everything zip tied together, you can really fluff out your bow. This ribbon had wire to it, which is my favorite kind of ribbon to use because you can pull it and make it stand and stay however that you want. Then I wanted to add a tail to my ribbon, so I cut out a long piece, and I'm also going to zip tie that in the center of the bow that we have just made, and then trim off your excess zip tie. And then I dovetailed the ends and kind of placed it on my carrot to see how long that I wanted it to be. To add a little something extra, I also had this orange gingham ribbon, so I did hot glue that down onto the tails of our bow. I thought that added a fun touch, and I really love how this turned out. I am definitely leaving this on my front door for all of spring. I don't think the last DIY was too hard, but it definitely is a little bit time consuming, so I wanted to throw in this DIY because it is so quick and so easy, and most of the stuff you probably have around your house, or at least you hopefully have it around your house for the Easter season. So my Dollar Tree has not gotten in the Easter grass yet. When I'm filming this, we're still in February, so it's not crazy to think that they still don't have the Easter grass. So I actually picked through some of this that I picked up from Target during Christmas, and I'm just picking out all of the green grass, so this can be something that our eggs are laying in. At the Dollar Tree, I saw that they had these bubblegum eggs. I actually ate one and it was not good. So I felt even better that I was only going to be using this for DIY purposes because it did not taste good. Then for the top of my jar, I picked up one of these ceramic bunnies. They're actually in the section, the Easter section at Dollar Tree, where they have toys and games for kids. It's a ceramic bunny that you can paint. I used some gold paint to paint it, and then I just hot glued it on top, and I love that it looks like it is a cloche with all of the Easter eggs. Next up, I'm going to show you guys how to create your very own bird's nest for any spring and Easter DIYs. I see these at Hobby Lobby and they can get a little bit pricey if you want to just buy a nest. Dollar Tree, I haven't seen anything like this, so let's make one. And we're going to start off this DIY by me showing you how to make the nest. So I took a brown paper bag and then I cut off one end just so I had a little less to work with. And then I just started going all the way around the brown paper bag and started rolling it down. It is a little bit hard just because you don't want to rip the brown paper bag, but once you get the hang of it, you just roll it all the way down until it kind of has this nest formation. Then for the next part, I did put on a pair of plastic gloves because the feeling of the wet Spanish moss with the Mod Podge is kind of gross. I didn't like it. So I went ahead and put on a pair of gloves, and all that you're going to do is line all around that brown paper bag formation with some Mod Podge and then stick on some Spanish moss. And you're just going to continue doing this, building up the layers. At first, I felt like it wasn't working and everything was sliding around, but once the Mod Podge dries, you'll be able to see that everything does stay in place really well. So I just kept doing the technique of layering Mod Podge, then moss, Mod Podge, then moss. And towards the end, I was a little sick of that technique, and I thought maybe a faster way to do it is to just dip the Spanish moss straight into the Mod Podge and then lay it down, and that worked too. So I did that with the top layer. I think either way would be fine. And then once you have pretty successfully built your nest, again, it doesn't look super pretty because of the Mod Podge, but once it dries, it really does look nice. And then you can see that I'm kind of just forming it and molding it with my hands to get it in a nice circular shape. Also, if you have any unruly Spanish moss that's sticking out, you can always go in with a pair of scissors after it's dried and cut off any pieces that are really sticking out. I let my little bird nest dry for 24 hours before I touched it again. So the next day I moved on to the eggs that are going to be going in our little DIY bird nest. I got these styrofoam eggs from the Dollar Tree, and then I just took 3 toothpicks and placed them in the styrofoam eggs. After painting them this light purple lavender color, I stuck the toothpicks down into some floral foam so that the eggs could fully dry. To give my eggs a speckled effect, I took some dark brown paint and a large fluffy paintbrush, and I just loaded up my paintbrush with a lot of brown paint, and then I pulled the bristles back, and it gave this really sporadic, kind of uneven, freckled look. Now that it has been over 24 hours, our nest has perfectly dried, and I even took some twigs that I found outside and added those into the nest as well. And I'm just checking to make sure that the 3 eggs fit, but I'm not going to glue those down yet because now is the time to add all of my greenery and floral arrangements. I really liked these spring florals that the Dollar Tree just came out with. There's tons of greenery and little bits of purple and lavender, and I thought that went perfectly with the eggs, so I just put a bunch of florals in the back of the nest. Once I was happy with my selection and placement of florals, I went ahead and placed those in the nest. I was able to just kind of push them down into the nest. Now that the nest is all complete and we have decorated it with our eggs, you can definitely just display this really anywhere you want in your home, but I wanted it to be a little bit more of a sign, so I picked up chicken wire and a frame from the Dollar Tree. I painted the frame and I added the chicken wire. I will link that video up above. I did it a couple years back, and I decided to hot glue the nest right onto the front of the chicken wire. I saw something very similar at Kirkland's for about $75, so this was a challenge to myself to see if I could DIY it for less. Next up is, I think, my favorite DIY in today's video. I just love anything bunny related when it comes to spring stuff. I think it's so cute, so we are going to create our own bunny cloche. Again, I've said it again and again, I cannot find the thin jute at my store, so I had to improvise a little bit here too. But we're starting off with this bunny head. I don't even know what's around it. It's like a tinsel kind of material, and basically I am completely taking apart this bunny so that all that we have left is the actual frame of the bunny, none of this tinsel. I'm using this thicker kind of version of jute to wrap all the way around the bunny head frame. I picked this up from burlapfabrics.com a couple of years ago, and I still have quite a bit left, so it definitely served me well in this project while I am still on the hunt for jute. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you've gone to your Dollar Tree recently and seen jute. That will give me some positive ideas that maybe I will find it again. I'm speeding up this section because it's really simple. I'm just covering the entire bunny frame with this material. It was a little bit more difficult around the ears just because I had to hot glue everything off and start over, but overall a pretty easy task to do. I grabbed some of this orange buffalo check ribbon, also from the Dollar Tree. I picked it up in the fall, and that is going to be the bow that I will put on the bunny's head. But before I hot glue down my ribbon, I wanted to add a little bit of greenery since in the cloche underneath the bunny head, we're gonna have carrots and greenery. So I just pulled off some little greenery picks that I had, and I'm hot gluing those right down in between the two of the ears before I hot glue down that bow. Instead of a cloche that the Dollar Tree does sell, I ended up just going with a glass jar that the Dollar Tree also sells, and I flipped it upside down. The bunny head is going to go on top, but underneath I put some of those jute carrots in, and I also had some other little greenery picks, so I just kind of stuck those in too. And then to secure the bunny head, I took some hot glue before placing that down. For the final touch, I went back in with a little bit more of that rope just around the base of the bunny's head because you could see some of the glass, and I want it to be nice and cohesive, so that was the last touch that I made on this bunny cloche. If you're enjoying today's video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, the like button down below. It really helps out my channel, and also don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on a future video. I come out with a new video every week. All right, so let's move in to our last DIY. It's a really simple one. You might have seen it kind of taking over Instagram in the past couple of weeks. I've seen it a bunch and wanted to try it out myself. So we are making a peep vase. Super easy. All you need is a vase and some peeps and flowers. If you're using fresh flowers, you're going to want two vases, one that's smaller than the second so you can place it inside, and then you'll slip the peeps down in between the two. That way you don't actually want to put water in this vase because the peeps will just melt. They are marshmallows. But for this one, I'm showing you if you want to use fake flowers, you can just put the peeps right down in there with them. So I'm just lining this entire vase with the peeps. Again, if you're using real flowers, make sure that you have a smaller vase that the stems will actually go into with the water. But if you just want to use fake flowers or maybe put something in there that's not flowers, maybe just some other type of greenery, then this method is going to work perfect for you. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.